Hello and welcome back to ERU, where we break down the biggest talking points and results from around European football. And it's an ERU of first, actually. It's the first ERU or any video I've done without a beard in about 3 years, with November having just started today. Welcome to November. But McCubs, crucially, you've moved house as well. It's your first episode, first video in your new house. How are you finding your new surroundings? It looks great.
Yeah, not too bad. You might notice, people at home, that I might be a little bit echoey today because I'm in quite a big room, which is great, and there's nothing on the walls yet. So there's that. But yeah, nice place. Just been moving in this weekend. And I've just noticed that my Inter top actually matches slightly matches the blue wall behind me. So that's nice, isn't it? That's a little plus.
Love it. Love a bit of colour coordination on a Monday morning. But McCubs, we are kicking off with Eden Hazard at the suggestion of @Sharvag Yak because he's done a first as well. First for a while.
Yes, first goal in over a year for the Belgian. Obviously did not have a great first season at Madrid by any standards, but got that fantastic opener in their comfortable 4-1 victory over Huesca, turning and firing in from 25 yards out to open the scoring. And what a goal it was! So satisfying to watch. The bend on that ball was just it was crafted, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
But yeah, a good day at the office for Madrid in general. Their other goals came from Benzema, who got on the score sheet twice, and Fede Valverde. But this win was all about Hazard, really. He hadn't scored since the 5th of October 2019 against Granada, has missed 32 games with injury since then. But he looked, somewhere near his best. He was only on the pitch for 60 minutes, but he completed 2 dribbles, had 3 shots, which was game high level with Benzema, and obviously got the goal as well. Already looking like he's, set to, try and regain the form that obviously got him that massive move in the summer of 2019. And he really does need to perform this season, doesn't he? He turns 30 in January, and he got that 1 goal in 22 appearances last term, and will likely, or may well, have Kylian Mbappe to contend with next season. Obviously, this is a transfer saga, which I'm sure will go on for the next few months, and we're going to be talking to death about it, but get discussing in the comments below about that. And with Barcelona dropping points away at Alaves, Madrid are now 8 points clear of them. Barca do have a game in hand, so I guess it's not that big a gap at this stage. But another positive for Madrid, pulling away from their rivals like that. Obviously, that only puts that El Clasico victory last weekend in an even better light now. A real 6-pointer, that one, wasn't it, in hindsight? And with Real Sociedad travelling to Celta Vigo this afternoon, at this moment in time, while we're recording this, we do record this on a Sunday afternoon, Los Blancos are top of the league as we film. Zidane will be pleased with the control shown in this game, something that they probably haven't had so much in recent weeks. 59% possession, 13 shots and 6 on target to Huesca's 9 and 2. XG had it at a very decisive 2.2 to 0.8. in Madrid's favour. The only downside for them will be conceding that David Ferrero goal. Militao failed to stop the cross, and then Ramos and Marcelo had a bit of a mix-up in the area, didn't they? They failed to pick him up at the back post. So not great from that perspective, and their defence has definitely taken a bit of a dip since last season, hasn't it? I think, also that the lineups in that back line have been pretty inconsistent especially after the injury to Carvajal, although I thought Lucas Vazquez was actually deputised all right there in this game, but they've now kept just 3 clean sheets in 9 games this season. A big drop off from last term, and that's definitely something that Zidane will be wanting to work on more in the coming weeks. But Dougie, Huesca, they're on a bit of a bad run, right?
Yeah, I mean, the wait for a win goes on for them now. They've played 8, they've lost 3 and drawn 5, and conceded 8 goals in their last 2 league games, although they have played Real Sociedad and Real Madrid, the 2 sort of leaders at this stage. The signs are, though, that they could be okay in the grand scheme of things. They've already drawn against Villarreal, Valencia and Atletico Madrid, and they seem to be sort of a pretty functional side, at least according to the statistics, which say that they've got the 9th for shots per game, 6th for shots against, and XG rates them as the 13th best side in the division. If they do survive, though, it'll be down to 2 players mainly. 23-year-old striker Rafa Mir who has taken nearly 3 times as many shots as anyone else so far with 21. And goal scorer David Ferreira, who plays on the right wing, who's creating 3.5 chances per 90. He's actually created 6 more opportunities than anyone else in La Liga. Second best is actually Sergio Canales, who has, of course, started really well at Real Betis this season. Key performers in this game. Vinicius was excellent after coming on for Hazard after 60 minutes. 3 key passes and 3 dribbles in a great response from him after that video leaked of Benzema criticising him at half-time in their Champions League game last week. I thought that was really unprofessional, so fair play to Vinicius Jr. for responding in such good style. I thought that was really impressive. Fede Valverde also continues his good form. He was excellent in El Clasico the week before, but here 2 tackles and interceptions, 1 key pass, 2 shots, 1 assist and 1 goal. Really useful player in both boxes, really, and so athletic as well. A real superstar in the making. I really like Fede Valverde. Man of the match, though, was Mr. Naughty, Karim Benzema. 1 dribble, 2 key passes, 3 shots, 1 assist and 2 goals. He now has 4 goals and 3 assists in 9 League and Champions League games so far this season. So pretty impressive start from Karim Benzema once again, but I did not like him exerting his authority on the side. Or on a young player like that, at least. Next up for Real Madrid, they've got that must-win game against Inter Milan at home on Tuesday after they've only picked up 1 point from their opening 2 Champions League games. But the Hazard point is interesting, I think. I think people forget how much money Hazard actually cost. It was £89 million, and I think that rose to over €100 million. And he only had 1 year left on his contract. So Real Madrid did put a lot of money down for Hazard, and so far it hasn't worked out whatsoever. So you feel like, as you say, with Mbappe possibly arriving next summer, and if they don't go for Mbappe, they'll no doubt go for another superstar forward, that the pressure is really starting to turn on Eden Hazard this year. But this was a great start, and what a turn and finish. It was a really nice goal. So more of that needed from Eden Hazard. McCubs, if you had to do a quick prediction, we're going to come on to Inter Milan in our next section, but how do you see this Champions League game going?
It's at home, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think... I'm going to back Real. I can't see them going 3 Champions League games without a win. And
Fair.
Inter, although they are very strong opponents, like they haven't had like the greatest start to the season either, have they? That we'll get onto. So I'm going to go for I'm going to go 2-1 Madrid.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I might go 2-2 actually, a draw, but I think Real Madrid will definitely have the better of it. But let's move on to our loser, their opponents, Inter Milan.
So yeah, as you've just heard, our losers this week are the Nerazzurri. This one comes in from @JLeoSimes5. Dougie, they've dropped points again, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. But just before we get into that, I just want to do a quick reminder to smash that like button on this video. If this video gets over 2,500 likes, one of us, myself or McCubs, will do an Instagram live on Football Daily. We tried to promise one with Continental Club. We didn't quite hit those amazing numbers that I promised. So 2,500 likes on this video, and we will do an Instagram live at some stage on Monday. But let's get back to Inter Milan, because their troubled start to the season continued as they dropped more points, drawing 2-2 at home to Parma, with goals from Gervinho ×2, he got a double, Brozovic and Perisic. Now, Inter Milan were many people's favourites going into this campaign, but they've already dropped 7 points in their 6 games. It took them until the 11th of January last year to drop that many, so it really does show the troubles that they've had. And if AC Milan beat Udinese away from home today, they will go 5 points clear of their rivals at this early stage. And it should have been a straightforward victory. Parma were winless going into this game and had conceded 2 or more goals in 5 of their 6 games going into this. But it was made more difficult by Lukaku's injury. He's got a thigh injury, which also makes him a doubt for their Champions League game against Real Madrid that we've been talking about as well. And he is crucial to them. There's no getting away from it. The 27-year-old has scored 11 goals in 9 games for club and country this season, only failing to score against Lazio and Shakhtar Donetsk in that 0-0 last week. Now, in his absence, Conte went with the front 2 of Lautaro Martinez and Ivan Perisic. And whilst they had 25 efforts with 9 on target, to Parma's 5 and 3, so it's one of those games you'd expect them to win sort of 9 times out of 10. They were particularly wasteful. XG had it at 3 to 0.8, so it's a game that Inter Milan simply should have won. Conte will be concerned with his side's defending. Hakimi and De Vrij let Gervinho sort of run off the back of them for the first goal. Although, what a finish from Gervinho. He still got it, that enormous forehead of his. It gives him incredible powers in the box. It certainly gives me powers in the box when I'm playing football as well. And he was excellent for that first. And then he ran off the back of De Vrij for the second as well. And they've now conceded 10 goals into Milan. And that's only topped by 8 teams in Serie A at the time of writing. And they've only kept 1 clean sheet in the league versus Genoa. So full credit to Parma and full credit to Gervinho, who McCubs is going to come on to. But troubling times for Inter Milan. But what was the story from the other side of the coin, McCubs?
Yeah, like you said, it was all about Gervinho, wasn't it? He hasn't had the best time this season. He'd only taken 3 shots in 4 games, failing to find the net in the build-up to this match, which was a bit of a drop-off for him because obviously he's enjoyed somewhat of another career revival at Parma. I think he got about 11 goals last term. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, he refound that form in this game. 1 dribble, 1 key pass, 2 shots, 2 goals. An incredibly clinical performance from him. But you can't really take it away from him. Both of those finishes, especially the first on the volley on his left foot.
Oh,
they were just exquisite, weren't they? So yeah, he'll be hoping to kick on from here because he really has been a key player for them since signing from High by Fortune back in August 2018. A deal which looks more and more like a masterstroke, doesn't it? He got 13 league goals or contributed to 13 league goals in his debut season, another 11 last year. And that has kind of kept Parma pretty safe, hasn't it? In kind of 14th, 11th, kind of mid-table region. And obviously without Dejan Kulusevski this season, I guess that there's probably a bit more pressure on him to produce as well.
Absolutely.
Other key players this season will be former Inter forward Jan Karamo and 22-year-old left-back Giuseppe Petzela, who's averaging 3 tackles and interceptions and 2.2 dribbles per 90 this term. So good start to the season for him. Back to Inter though, because Nicolo Barella was excellent in this game, wasn't he? 4 tackles and interceptions, 1 aerial duel, 1 dribble, 4 key passes, registered a shot as well and got an assist to his name. Perisic as well, very solid, standing in for Lukaku, obviously, as you were saying, hard shoes to fill, but 4 aerial duels, 1 dribble, 3 key passes, 4 shots, and obviously got that all-important equaliser late on, didn't he? Conte badly needs a full squad available to him, doesn't he? He's currently without Vecino, Skriniar, Sanchez, Sensi and Lukaku, and his tendency to kind of meddle with that back line a bit has come back to bite him as well, hasn't it, with their defensive record. So yeah, that trip to the Bernabeu in some ways couldn't have come at a worse time for them, really. But it is a must-win game, obviously, after that 0-0 draw in Ukraine. That group kind of reads Shakhtar top on 4 points, and then Gladbach and Inter on 2, and then Real Madrid on 1. So yeah, must-win for both sides. I think that's going to be the game to watch, to be honest, this week, isn't it? But yeah, so Inter Milan fans, get us down in the comments. What do you think needs changing? What do you think about your prospects this season? And yeah, let's move on to our Star of the Week.
It's time for Star of the Week. Woo! It's everyone's favourite section. And it is Mats Hummels, McCubs, at the suggestion of @Real Jack Jones. Why is that?
Yes, his goal scoring form continued, didn't it? Scored both of Dortmund's strikes in their 2-0 victory away at newly promoted Arminia Bielefeld. That takes him to 3 goals in his last 2 Bully games. The first one was pretty scrappy, wasn't it? Came off his kind of groin area from a Sancho corner, but the second was a magnificent header from a Thomas Meunier cross. Capped a very solid afternoon's work for the 33-year-old. 1 tackle, 9 aerial duels, 1 key pass and 3 shots. But Dougie, obviously, yeah, great game for Hummels, but what does this mean for Dortmund now?
Yeah, well, it was a vital win for Lucien Favre's side, really. Erling Haaland was rested, but they dominated the game with 2.8 XG to Arminia's 0.3. And it was a pretty solid defensive performance, of course, without Zagadou, Schultz, Smeltzer as well. Dortmund have really been helped by the return of Akanji in recent weeks as well. So things are looking pretty good for Dortmund. And with RB Leipzig losing 1-0 to Gladbach, thanks to a Hannes Wolf goal, Dortmund have leapfrogged them into second spot, only behind Bayern on goal difference, who beat Cologne 2-1 away from home yesterday. Next up for Dortmund, they've got Club Bruges away from home. I think it's away from home this week in a must-win game. They currently have 3 points to Bruges' 4. Lazio also have 4 before Der Klassiker next weekend. Cannot wait for that one. And they'll need Hummels to continue his good form. The point of difference really between Dortmund and Bayern so far this season is Dortmund's defence. Obviously, Bayern have the far better attack as far as goals scored so far, but Dortmund have only conceded 2 goals in 6 league games so far this season. That's the best record in Europe alongside Atletico Madrid. So Lucien Favre will really need Mats Hummels and Akanji to be on top of their game next weekend in Der Klassiker, and Erling Haaland to come back in too. It was good to see Torgan Hazard get some minutes under his belt as well. Julian Brandt played pretty well by the looks of things as well. So it's starting to come together for Dortmund. I feel like if they can get a win in Der Klassiker, you know, it might be a deeper title challenge than we've seen in the last few years at least. You know, generally from about February, Bayern have just sort of rolled into gear and absolutely dominated the latter stages of the league. So Dortmund need to establish a fairly big lead before then. But guys, we want to know from you, who is going to win Der Klassiker next weekend? We've got massive games this week. It's also Liverpool versus Atalanta in the Champions League. And of course, as we've said, Bayern versus Inter Milan. So I want predictions for all those 3 in the comments down below. And that's all we've got time for on ERU for this week. Remember to smash that like button. We want 2,500 likes. And then there's going to be an Instagram live on Monday afternoon or Monday evening from myself or McCubs. McCubs, what should they go and do now after they finish this?
They should go and check out Saturday's The Football Pyramid, because we welcomed back Kieran Carlin to the channel. That's right, star of the comments show, and the Kieran Carlin YouTube channel, obviously. So that was a real laugh. Go and watch that. Go and watch our scout report last week on players who are too good for the Europa League. And yeah, obviously subscribe if you haven't done so already. What are you doing? You know, if you're at the end of this video and you're not subscribed, then yeah, I don't understand you.
It would be foolish. Frankly, ridiculous if you haven't subscribed at this point. But guys, thank you very much for watching. We will see you next Monday. Auf Wiedersehen.
Tschüss.